Audience confusion. It's the branding red flag that most creators miss. Imagine opening up Apple Podcasts one morning or any podcast directory and discovering that someone else is using your show's name. Same title, similar artwork, even the same intro music. And when you ask Apple to take it down, they say no. This actually happened. And today I'm going to show you exactly why it happened, what could have prevented it, and what to do if it happens to you. Because if you're building a real podcast business, your name is not decoration, your title is not anything more or less. It's an asset. And if you don't protect it properly, someone else can. Let's talk about it right after this. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer. I've been helping creators and media entrepreneurs to protect and grow their businesses for almost 35 years now. And in this video, you're going to learn what to do if someone beats you to your podcast name and how to prevent that from happening in the first place. So here's the thing. I get it. Look, it's easy to think, hey, if I'm using the name first, I got there first, I automatically own it. It's mine. And there is some truth to that. We live in a first to use, not a first to file world, but it's not how things actually work in practice, because using a name does give you some rights, but those rights are limited. They are geographically limited to where you use that brand. They're also very often hard to prove. And platforms like Apple, Spotify, YouTube, they don't act as judges in ownership disputes. They respond to real evidentiary proof. And the strongest proof that you can have is a federal trademark registration. Now, let me break this down for you in practical terms. When you launch a podcast, you are creating a brand, a source identifier, a commercial asset. That name can attract advertisers. It can anchor your merchandise sales. It can support live events, anchor spin-off content. It could increase acquisition value for you and your business, and it can build the loyalty of your audience, your customers, and much, much more. But none of that works if you don't have real control over it. So here's what happens without registration. Someone files for the trademark first or just launches a confusingly similar show with a confusingly similar title. You can't stop them easily, and platforms aren't going to take action without that clear legal proof. And here's an important and critical distinction you have to understand. Domain name ownership is not trademark ownership. Social handle ownership is not trademark ownership. LLC registration is not trademark ownership. Only a federal registered trademark gives you presumptive nationwide rights. And in fact, trademark ownership can override all of those other things: domains, social handles, LLCs. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Mary. Now, Mary is not her real name, but she called me in a panic. She had been running her show for about 2 years, had a good audience size, growing downloads. She discovers another podcast. Same title, knockoff artwork. They even used the same intro music. So she contacted Apple, and Apple said, no, we're not going to do anything. They're not going to remove it because Mary couldn't prove that she had superior rights to use that title and that artwork and stuff. No registration, no formal protection. Now, we were able to build a case using prior use evidence, archived files, publication dates, distribution records, and it worked eventually, but it cost Mary far more in time and legal fees and headaches than a trademark application ever would have. And it took months that would have been better spent making good content and growing her business. Now, I can hear some of you out there thinking, my show's too small to worry about this trademarking stuff, or no one would bother to copy my title, or I'll just deal with it later when it becomes an issue. And those are exactly the assumptions that create big, expensive problems. And here's the truth. Conflicts don't happen because you're big. They happen because someone else picks the same name or something really close, and that causes confusion, or because someone files before you, or because someone sees an opportunity. Trademarks aren't about ego. They're about risk control. Now, if you're serious about building what I call a modern media mogul business, if your show supports your consulting, your courses, your speaking, memberships, brand deals, or whatever, then your brand name deserves protection. If you want help doing this the right way, I invite you to go to firemark.com/trademarks. That's where you can learn about my trademark registration services for creators. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can check whether your podcast name is even registrable before you spend $1 filing anything, because filing blindly is another expensive mistake. And if you want to go deeper into how to structure your podcast like a real business, including this kind of brand protection, contracts, ownership structures, and monetization, I teach all of that inside my Easy Legal for Podcasters system. You can even watch a free sample lesson over at gordonfiremark.com/levelup. Your podcast is more than content. It's a business asset. So protect it like one. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and until next time, keep on making a difference, and by all means, keep on creating.